Okay, we can go ahead and get started. So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another PAMIC webinar. My name is Brittany Bargo, and I'm the Director of Communications and Technology at PAMIC. Today's webinar is titled Why Google Cloud for Insurance Services, presented by Len Henry of Google Cloud. Before I introduce our speaker, I just wanted to give a quick thank you to our sponsors on your screen. Without them, our quality educational webinars would not be possible. Now moving on to our presenter today. Len Henry is a technologist and a certified cloud customer engineer at Google Cloud. Len brings over 20 years of experience in software development, DevOps, architecture, and team leadership. Len has helped develop several solutions with several financial service companies over the years at both Google and AWS. When Len isn't in the cloud, he is spending time with his wife and triplet daughters and a growing collection of pets and farm animals. Now, just a few housekeeping items before we begin this webinar. We ask that if you have any questions, please submit them through the Q&A block at the bottom of your screen. Additionally, if you would like to rewatch this presentation or would like to contact Len, both will be hosted on the on-demand section of the PAMIC website after the conclusion of this webinar. Now, without further ado, Len, I will hand the presentation over to you.
Thank you so much. I want to thank you all for having me here to talk to you about Google Cloud. And I want this to be an interactive experience. So please, if you have any questions about anything, let me know. And we'll, of course, make some time available at the end of the presentation to answer even more questions. And so what are we going to be talking about today is, how Google Cloud can help. And we know that this is now a time of transformation. And this is really the thing that we keep hearing from customers over and over again. And so we're going to talk about some of the major challenges that you guys may be experiencing in your industry, and then how Google Cloud can help and why Google Cloud would be a good choice for help. And then we're going to talk a little bit about our partner landscape, which is actually a pretty big deal for us here at Google Cloud in terms of how we help our customers and basically be our force multipliers. And then we can talk about some next steps. I will definitely be a contact for you in case you have some additional questions, but we have a lot of people out there who can help you on your journey. So let's start with the things that basically keep you up at night, which are the things that you keep in mind. We know that you have your macroeconomic concerns. How do you maintain profitability? We know you're concerned about customer behavior. How do you deliver omnichannel experiences to all your different users and all the different expectations? A lot of folks now expect everything to be 24/7. They expect to have online access to mobile applications. We know about industry competition and how do you grow your market share, given the shift to direct and rising cost structures. We know that digital and technology is a big deal in this industry. How do you modernize legacy infrastructures, and how do you do that with lower risk and lower cost? We know that risk and regulatory concerns are always going to be top of mind as well. How do you adapt to the evolving risk landscape that you're going to be encountering? And then we also know about organizational challenges that you may be facing. How do you improve your customer relationships, and how do you improve employee productivity, especially now that there's a lot of remote working now? So I want to start with a little bit of inspiration. We know that insurance companies are of course, data-driven organizations. But the question that you could ask is, what does that mean to be data-driven, say, 10 years from now, or maybe the 20 years from now? We could talk about, 612 zettabytes, which is about 612 trillion gigabytes of data that could be expected by 2030. Or, we could talk about, for example, the number of satellites that could be launched by then. Right now there's about, 2,500 satellites orbiting the Earth. But by 2029, that number will actually be 57,000. And that's an increase of 57x. And SpaceX and private companies are driving that growth. So the question is, how will you engage with customers when you have that much more data that's out there and that many satellites orbiting the Earth? How does insurance change when there's that many satellites out there now, and the volume and variety of data that's going to exist in your industry? This is actually one of the things that we like to think is one of our strengths here at Google Cloud. which is how we can help you make your data more existing data and new data more useful, and to help you prepare for the future. And the way we can do that is, one, with our industry aligned solutions, because we know that you don't just want components to be able to put together a solution. It's much better, you're much better able to react and make use of solutions if we have something that's already aligned for you as a solution. We also bring to the table leading AI ML expertise. That's actually one of the areas that Google is very well known for. And then, and then there's also the reputation, which comes from basically the power of Google. I mean, lots of folks know about many of these enterprise applications that Google makes available on a global scale. The other thing that we bring to the table is infrastructure and security built for billions of users. These are some of the things that we're known for, but then as a part of Google Cloud, we actually bring some of that to our customers to be able to leverage for themselves. So when you partner with Google, you will basically get to unlock the power of data, and you can transform how you deliver a customer-centric experience and how you can drive profitable top-line growth. We can help you deliver customer-centric experiences. We can help with your growth and operational efficiency, and also how you can business model, how can you innovate when it comes to your business model. And a key to that, of course, is how you can innovate when it comes to data. So let's talk about what the customer-centric experience looks like and how Google Cloud can help you with that. So we know that the challenge you're facing in this area is that customers want fast assistance, and they want human agents who may also end up spending a lot of time being able to handle routine requests. And so because of that driver, we actually have our contact center AI platform, which is designed to be able to leverage AI to help improve the customer center experience that your users can have. And some of the key capabilities of that is it has virtual agents, which allows you to create advanced virtual agents using AI that can interact with customers on a 24/7 basis. And one of the things that we're known for here at Google is how intelligent our AI is. So imagine leveraging some of the things that you may see in Android, or leveraging some of the things you may see on our websites in order to be able to meet some of your virtual agent needs. We also have a feature called Agent Assist, which allows you to, it basically supercharges the agent experience. So as your agents are interacting with the customers, the Agent Assist gives them additional information that they can leverage based off of the context that they're experiencing right now with the user. And then the other thing that we provide with Contact Center AI is a lot of good insights. We use natural language processing to identify call drivers and different ways in which you want to tune your investments for how your call center operates. In terms of a customer story for this, Max Life built a chatbot powered by us to answer customer questions and generate stronger leads. The results for them for that was they doubled their satisfaction rate among customers. They brought 400% more traffic to customer service over 8 months, and they helped generate over 38 times more leads. So when it comes to call center service, imagine a customer named Sarah who goes to your website to purchase home insurance. She begins her quote, but has questions. Imagine if a chatbot suddenly appears on the screen offering help. And Sarah is able to find what she was looking for as she wants to speak to an agent after doing so, and she closes a policy with that agent right there. What does it take to be able to make something like that happen? Well, a chatbot didn't show up randomly. AI is able to predict when Sarah needed help. It was then able to interact with Sarah, helping her find what she needed in a natural way. Finally, it matched Sarah to the most relevant agent who could help her, because remember, the insurance situation for different customers is vastly different, right? And after the call with the agent, the insights analyzed call for sentiment analysis that could be used for future situation. This is a vision that we can partner with you to work towards. And that's some of what we can help you with to be able to provide for your customers. So at a high level, AI predicts when someone needs help. AI can then interact naturally with your end users. And then AI can then be used to match relevant agents. And then call sentiment can be done afterwards to be able to further improve the experience for other customers on your properties. So here's one of the other challenges you may face in terms of expediting the claims. So let's take a look at your claims process, another critical moment for customer experience. So say you have an auto damage claim and it is a critical moment for customer retention because a poor experience can lead to someone switching insurers, while an excellent experience can lead to long-term loyalty. So historically, auto claims have been time intensive, laborious, and a claims adjuster needs to physically inspect each vehicle, determine the parts they need for replacement, and then understand the labor required for repair. The solution for this is to create a vehicle damage detector with Google Cloud, which is what USAA did to instantly assess vehicle damage from digital images and improve the accuracy of cost estimates and reduce the time to payment. So let's talk a little bit about how that system works. So say Sarah has a fender bender. She then takes appraiser takes a picture of the damage. And then Sarah goes on about her day and Sarah's claim is paid. But what does it take to actually make that happen? First of all, the images that she takes of the damage are scanned by Google Vision API to predict which part that needs repair or replacement. And that's a capability that exists right now. The predictions are set to Mitchell International, which maps them to a cost estimate based off of the information that's collected from the image taken and then the AI analysis of them. And then cost estimate is reviewed by an appraiser and sent for review. So let's talk about driving top line growth. So the challenge is competition hinges on growing premiums. In the many insurance business, the cost of acquisition is a competitive advantage, basically. Firms with low cost structures can reinvest the savings into more marketing and better experience. And as you can see in the US private auto industry, insurers with low cost per policy tend to grow much faster than those with higher costs. It's not always feasible to cut costs further, but increasingly firms are realizing they can match customer value, a function of expected duration and risk characteristics, to appropriate levels of acquisition and retention spending. In other words, they can spend more to acquire and retain higher value customers, and they can ensure marketing spend is commensurate with the value of their customers. So to meet that challenge of growing premiums rather faster than acquisition costs, you want to place greater emphasis on lifetime value-based strategies. And you want to align lifetime value to marketing costs, ensuring you pay more to acquire and retain higher value customers. And how can we help with that? We can partner with you to create such a lifetime value-based model. We can help merge and ingest data into BigQuery, which is our data warehousing platform, across data silos, predict LTV values, and then pass index version of those values onto Google Ads for marketing activation. Google has powerful solutions such as value-based bidding, which can leverage LTV data such as this. And I'd like to add on this is that BigQuery is a big component of a lot of what we call our smart analytics platform, which is the idea is to leverage making it easier to ingest data across from wherever you're coming from, which can be everything from your built-in applications, web properties, all the way through claims processing systems, for example. Then make that data into a way that is more usable, and then also leverage it for other processes, such as being able to do artificial intelligence and machine learning across it. So you'll hear a lot of folks at Google Cloud able to talk about smart analytics. So let's look at another way to drive top line growth. So insurance brand value is critical. So we can help you stand out in a saturated market with new experiences. So for example, a lot of folks are familiar with Google Maps. You can actually use Google Maps API to build new services that help customers understand their policy and home information, and therefore increase their favorability. I've actually used this application. Allstate is a good example. They have basically a way of leveraging to be able to give you quotes information, leveraging data from Google Maps. And they saw clear impact with that platform with a 350% increase in likelihood to quote. So what it does is it's built on the Google Maps platform to what's the power platform known as Good Home, which visualizes customer homes with location-specific information about common insurance policy claims. And the results for them was a 350% increase in likelihood that Good Home visitors asked for insurance quotes. It also facilitated a quick 90-day development cycle through Google Maps platforms, how easy it was to make use of the Google Maps platform. And they encourage 40% of visitors to search multiple addresses and driving engagement and sales. So let's move on to how we accelerate operational efficiency. So one of the most common problems among insurers is the burden of paper, which slows down internal processes. So Google Cloud has an offering that helps convert paper into structured data that can be useful to speed claims, new policy applications, and other use cases. Because we know, much of insurance operations start and end with paper. So that's why we have Document AI, which can then be used to convert paper unstructured data into structured data, which can then be used to speed claims processing, new policy applications, etc. Another operational efficiency we use, which is specific to commercial insurance, but gives you an idea of what's possible. We know that commercial properties are hard to underwrite. There are large numbers of buildings, all of which cannot be visited, and they rely on specialist building engineers to support the underwriting process. In fact, it's often impossible to visit all the sites, and in some cases, only 10 to 15% of commercial properties that are underwritten are fully assessed with an on-site visit. That's why Google Cloud partnered with Deloitte on OnSite AI. OnSite AI creates a digital print of any location across the world. It provides you with the intelligence you need to underwrite a property without being on site, using real-time on-demand data. It draws on structured data as well as unstructured data, for example, geosatellite data, which can be analyzed to create a risk score. So OnSite AI is a Google Cloud and Deloitte solution that delivers commercial property risk intelligence for insurers. And you can see some of the key components of that running on Google Cloud. And another key part of operational efficiency is modernizing analytics and infrastructure. And Access Switzerland is actually a great example of using data and analytics to future-proof insurance solutions. So by adopting solutions such as BigQuery, Dataflow, and Cloud Functions, Access Switzerland is aiming to gain cross-industry insights about future trends and customer preferences. The company also reduced time it took to run queries from a whole weekend to, in some cases, a few seconds. And this was one of those approaches where they were able to leverage multi-cloud capabilities with Google Cloud. Multi-cloud is actually a big deal for us here at Google Cloud because we have a lot of technology that's around enabling customers to operate efficiently across multiple clouds. So we have a lot of enabling technologies, everything from our Anthos application modernization platform all the way through, BigQuery has the BigQuery Omni, which basically allows you to do querying of data from wherever it's sourced from, whether it's coming from other clouds, on premises, etc. And you can see the quote here from AXA about how the improvements moving from their previous complex queries that took a whole weekend to how BigQuery was able to make them answer those same questions within a few minutes. So putting it together, when you put all these pieces together, how does the process look? So whereas before, your existing underwriting process may involve manual inputs, static and historical data, and maybe some long-run models, the process with Google could involve automatic data entry through Doc AI, risk priced on dynamic and real-time data sets, and models that run much faster, all of which can help you produce more granular pricing and loss reduction. And that's a vision we can work on together. And what needs to change for this to occur? So here's some example technologies that you can help to do this. For example, when a broker sends submission to insurer, the submission can automatically be entered in pricing engine through something like Document AI. So regardless of how structured or unstructured the data looks like, for example, if it's something on paper, you can digitize it using something like Doc AI. You can risk price on static historical data plus dynamic real-time data sets, for example, climate, satellite, traffic information. And then your models can run quickly and based on legacy models, as well as new models based off of artificial intelligence. And then the policy is written with more granular pricing and less exposure to large losses because of the additional new, much better information that you have with some of these tools. So an example of who's doing this well is Brit Insurance and Google Cloud are together launching the first digital Lloyd's of London syndicate, accessible from anywhere and anytime through KI. Brokers would be able to place insurance business more quickly using KI, which will provide automatic price quotes. And KI's algorithms will be able to evaluate Lloyd's commercial policies and will automatically quote for business through a digital platform, which brokers can access directly. So lastly, let's talk about how we can help with business model innovation. So we know that APIs are a game changer for the insurance industry. In fact, APIs are a game changer in general when it comes to digital transformation, because they help you reach customers via new distribution channels, and they also help you expedite the time to market. So Nationwide is a great example of this. They built an API for a faster quote that aggregators and companies were able to integrate into their quote flow and give them higher volume of quote. This capability enables new conversations about business models and opened up new possibilities for them for partnerships. So the challenge is product innovation is expensive and especially hard to centralize, and also has a very long time to value. So the solution for this would be to leverage something like an API ecosystem. So it allows insurers to see business outcomes much faster, and it brings them freedom to innovate with much lower risk. And then it attracts, onboards, and empowers a large networks of partners to be able to co-innovate with new business models. Because that's one of the things that you'll find is that once you're able to bring in more people to be able to take part in the expansion of the leveraging of your technologies, it's much easier to be able to innovate. So right now, Nationwide drives an API-first business strategy by implementing our Google Apogee API management platform. And it was able to transform its IT shared service organization to be an API-first business strategy across the company. And the result for them is the onboarding time for B2B partners went from months to just days. And it also resulted in a large increase in the number of quotes from aggregators. To summarize, so here are the use cases we covered today, and we'd like to come back and talk to you in more detail, one-on-one, about any of these in more detail. So we talked about the customer-centric experience and how you can do things like improving your call center customer service or expediting your claims processing, your claims process. We talked about top-line growth and how you can generate lifetime value-based acquisition and retention and differentiate your brand experience. We talked about operational efficiency, digitizing paper, assessing risk value, modernizing analytics performance, and improving your underwriting speech and accuracy. And then we also talked about an API-first business strategy and what that could mean for speeding up lifetime to value and also improving your speed of innovation. And because ultimately we're trying to power a virtuous cycle driven by data and analytics, and embodied by insurance tech companies like Lemonade and Root. And here's how it works. If you can deliver an incredible customer experience, you can collect more meaningful first-party data. More meaningful first-party data allows you to more granularly segment customers in terms of risk. More granular segmentation enables you to better align price to risk, which lowers losses and drives growth. And finally, more growth enables more reinvestment back into advertising and customer-centric experience. This is a process we think will be increasingly data-fueled in the next decade. So some of the reasons why insurers choose Google Cloud. One of the first ones here is the power of Google, which is to leverage the best of Google across your organizations. We're known for lots of different technologies and for lots of different businesses. And we have a very good reputation, and that's something that you can leverage in order to help you deliver solutions. The other thing is that we have a lot of expertise in leveraging the power of data. And we can help you derive insights from internal and external data that live anywhere. The other thing that we have is that we are industry leaders in AI ML, which can help you deliver faster, easier, and more accurate decisions. We also support multi-cloud choice and flexibility. You can develop something once and run it anywhere across everywhere. That refers to multi-cloud, on-premises, different modalities, for example, mobile websites to actually something, desktop websites. We also have our commitment to sustainability, which we're 100% renewable energy and zero net carbon emissions company. We also have best-in-class security, which gives you full control and privacy and protection of your data. And the one thing we want to highlight is that we don't expect you to depart on this transformational journey alone. We want you to leverage our suite of partners to support you. And no matter what initiatives you'd like to tackle first, from infrastructure modernization to API smart business analytics, we encourage you to engage with a partner for step-by-step support. So thank you so much for the time here, and let's start your journey together. And we would love to have a conversation with you. I'll provide my contact information so that if you have any additional questions, or if there's any particular topics that you'd want to deep dive in, or if you'd like to be introduced to your Google Cloud account team who can then work with you to develop a relationship so that we can help you make use of Google Cloud technology along your journey. And one of the things that your account team is able to do is to perform a discovery and assessment of your IT landscape with Google Cloud, and also work with you to co-design and launch some sort of a pilot on Google Cloud. So I'd like to open it up to if there's any questions or anything.
Yes, thanks, Len. I think we do have a few questions here. And before we do ask those, I wanted to mention that if anyone else does have any further questions, please place them in that Q&A block at the bottom of your screen. So the first question here being, what are these assured workloads I've heard about with Google Cloud, and what does it mean for my compliance needs?
So assured workload is a way that Google Cloud provides customers with the ability to create controlled environments in US data locations, and US person support controls are enforced. So what that means is that it gives you greater control for compliance needs, as well as also you can control where your data is located. And then it restricts the Google support personnel who can access your data. And there's attributes such as geographic access locations, and also currently background checks and US person status. And then it also gives you a different support process for being able to get support for those workloads. So it's something that we think is a differentiator and particularly of interest to folks who are running regulated and compliant workloads.
Awesome. Next one being, how would Google Cloud Corporate relate to an organization's individual Google services?
How would Google, can you say that again?
Yeah, of course. How would Google Cloud's Corporate relate to an organization's individual Google services?
Relate to in terms of provide support for an organization's?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, so at a high level, the way we approach things about this, we look at things in terms of a shared fate. And what we mean by that is that Google Cloud and Google is here to support our customers in being able to meet whatever their needs are leveraging our services. And that shared fate, we think, is a different approach to how things would be otherwise. And so what that means is that we're invested in your success on our platform. And that means a different approach when it comes to things like security, and a different approach when it comes to things like being able to provide support for making use of the platform. So that's something that I would say is a difference between us, is that we take the approach of the shared fate.
Awesome. It does look like they inserted some rephrasing here. So the question would now be, is the services of Google Cloud Corporate completely separate from the individual Google services?
Oh, so Google Cloud infrastructure is actually built on leverage on infrastructure that was originally built by Google. So, for example, networking infrastructure for data centers, some of that is leveraging some of the experience and also some of the actual infrastructure that was done originally for Google.
Awesome, thank you. Our next one being, is Google serious about the cloud?
So the response to that is a couple of things. One is we're now a 20 billion run rate company. And then also we have several business transactions that are over not just 1 year commitments, but also up to 10 years commitments from end users. So that is how serious we are about the cloud business.
What is one thing insurance technologists should know about Google Cloud?
Definitely how important it is to be able to make use of smart analytics, and then how quickly they can leverage newer technologies like AI ML on Google Cloud. And then also being able to leverage our industry solutions, which can make it much quicker to get a value from a business solution than you may initially think.
Awesome. It looks like we have a few more here. Next one being, I hear data and analytics are a major reason why some choose Google Cloud. Why is that?
So first off, Google Cloud had before Google Cloud existed, Google had spent a lot of time developing technology for doing analytics. So actually some of the clear building blocks for some of the data warehouse technologies that we know today were actually developed at Google Cloud. Everything from Hive all the way through the NoSQL movement. Some of those technologies were actually developed originally at Google. So there is that expertise. And then we've also over the years developed some very great technology like BigQuery, which is something that, industry leading technology for data warehousing. So that's the first part of it. The other part of it is that because we've developed this expertise, we've also actually become very specialized in our understanding of different customer needs over the years. So when you talk data to folks at Google Cloud, you will be able to talk to and deal with folks who know exactly what you're dealing with, and it'll also have technology that's also developed over the years specifically to meet the needs that you're talking about.
Awesome. It looks like we have one more here. What does Google Cloud offer you to get started?
So that's a great question. There's a lot of different things. So if you just go to the Google Cloud website itself, there's plenty of free tutorials and documentation on our platform. But then even more than that, there's also lots of free training that's available via our website. And then if you get in touch with your account team, there's actually a couple of programs. For example, there's a program called Kickstart, which basically provides you training through a bunch of different modalities, which can include in-person. Well, obviously right now, not very much in person, but it can have virtual training. But also it can offer you some of the programs through Coursera and Pluralsight, as well as through our what we call our Cloud Skills Boost, which is our platform that allows you to do training. And that training can allow you to do what's known as a hands-on lab, which gives you a virtual Google Cloud environment, which is similar to what you'd experience going into our actual console. So you can do training for your staff. And so many of these programs are free or at greatly reduced cost. For example, the Cloud Skills Boost is one that's free, and it basically gives you free training for about 60 days using, like I said, Coursera, Pluralsight, or our Cloud Skills Boost. So that's some of the stuff we can use to help you ramp up. And then depending on if what you're trying to accomplish, your account team may be able to offer you other things as well.
Awesome. Well, I think that concludes the questions for now. Please remember, if you have any further questions for Len or for Google Cloud, his contact information will be provided, as well as a recording of this webinar on the on-demand section on the PAMIC website. So thank you so much, Len, for this very informative presentation. For everyone in attendance, as a reminder, our first in-person event for the 2022 year, our annual spring conference, our registration is open for that, and you can reserve your spot on the PAMIC website. So just a thank you again so much for Len and Google Cloud for hosting this presentation, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much for having me, everyone. Thank you.